You should just keep your mouth shut so that you don't say anything.
Shut up and sit down.
Happy cycling is safe cycling.
I think I'll go for a ride, take the bike out of the shed, make a fresh start, get out of my head.
Before we start cycling, we have to prepare. First of all, you need suitable clothing that can soak up the sweat.
A little boy on a mission, like the Tour de France.
No, don't cycle drunk or
I
stoned.
was a king, the bike, the road, and me. I think I'll go for a ride.
You are listening to Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von During. I will always cherish the initial misconceptions I had about these knuckleheads. Enjoy the show.
Prepare the body for biking. Make it warm, hot and steamy, ready to go.
Home as many miles, you think you're...
If you reach a pedestrian crossing, then you have to stop, even if these persons are very ugly or old.
Some days I'm Sean Kelly, some days I'm David Byrne, pedaling through Dublin town or in Portland, Oregon.
If you want to pass someone, use your bell. Pass him and say, thank you.
When you ride the frontier between nature and mankind, I think I'll go for a ride. I think I'll go for a ride.
What if you become very light in your head? I myself always have an emergency potato in my pants. And when I get hungry on the road, I just cook it.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von During, and I'm here with Lance Hepler.
Lance Romance right here for your
Viewing pleasure. It is a pleasure.
lack of viewing pleasure.
It is a pleasure.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm here for you.
Cool. Tis right, Evan Price.
Is this the first time all four of us have been sitting at the table?
It's been a while.
Say that.
I think it's been a long
It
while.
has been
a
too
minute.
long.
It really has. Though our drinking patterns have not changed at all.
No.
Bubbly,
Something's-
LaCroix, and
Coffee.
LaCroix.
Coffee.
And whatever's in Lance's, probably Monster.
It's
Let's be
water.
honest. It's probably Monster.
What is, Jake,
Water.
what does your mug say? Have you seen?
Well, I've seen this mug a bunch.
Have you seen the Wonder Chainless?
Okay.
fixed gear bike?
The
The Wonder Chainless?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Lance got it from me for my birthday last year.
Brandy got that for you for your birthday.
Good job, Brandy.
Now I have to find out what is
It's
the
a nice
chainless
mug.
bicycle. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, they have the belt bicycles. So it could be
yes.
that.
It could be that.
I'm going to go with that. I'm going to assume
New
that's
technology.
the case.
She
Yes.
saw the mug, thought it was cool, and like, let's get that for Jake.
It's yeah.
Okay,
I like
honey,
it.
whatever you say.
I actually like the
course.
look of it.
It's a very
Thank you,
cool
Brandy.
looking mug.
Thank
It
you
is.
very much. I use it all the time. Devin's right. Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are looking good today. My goodness, you guys
You're
look good.
clean shaven.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I didn't realize that
yesterday.
today.
Yesterday, I just
You
got
took
rid
it
of
off.
it. Yeah, you know, it
You
was
really
coming-
do look about 10 years younger. When
It was coming in pretty thick, and I could have done something cool with it, but I didn't.
You're going to look
mistake.
so young when you're in your
That
70s.
was a
You
mistake.
could have gone with the Chester mustache for
Chester-
just a couple weeks. It would have been
Yeah.
so good.
People love Chester.
Did you,
People-
before you
yeah,
shaved it, did you film like 20 different scenes with Chester?
I didn't. That's what I was thinking was a mistake. Is Chester's
Just an hour of Chester scenes.
Chester's so good? I should have definitely come up with something, but
Bring him back.
bring him back.
Bring him back.
Don't worry. Tomorrow I'll have a full beard. It
That's
just
right. It
grows
All you got to do is go like this. And it just pops out.
yeah.
Hey, Matt, you're talking. Why don't you go ahead and backpedal for us?
I swam in the lake with Evan this morning. It was choppy.
Did you pee in your wetsuit?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all.
Absolutely.
you were lamenting why those wetsuits,
Why those wetsuits
smell
smell
so bad.
Well, it's not. I don't even think it's like.
rinse out.
It's not like a stink. It's like it's just like a neoprene smell. Like
Yeah.
Whenever I'm
It's a
like,
very
I smell
strong
like
neoprene
I've been,
smell.
It's like it's not really a lake stink. It's like I just smell like I've been wearing a wetsuit. I don't like it.
No, it's a very bad
I
smell.
don't like the smell of that.
It's pungent.
The pee, the urine smell. That's great.
Yep.
But
that kills
wonderful.
That kills the
kills
neoprene
everything.
smell. Yeah.
But the water was so choppy, I felt like I got hit in the face with a brick a couple of times. And some of the, I swallowed a fair amount of. There's not much Vancouver Lake water left because I swallowed some, and you swallowed some.
Between you, me, and Josh, I'm pretty sure we swallowed most of Vancouver Lake
Swallowed
there.
a
So.
bit of it. And I thought the whole time I was thinking like this is pretty good for me because I never swim in choppy water. It's always like Fallen
Yeah.
Leaf Lake, which is glass, and
You need that practice because
I need it.
it more often than not, you're
Yeah.
swimming in chop.
Races are usually going to be in chop.
Yeah.
That was more chop than usual
Yeah.
from the lakes that I've seen. But
That was a choppier day at Vancouver
But
Lake.
still,
definitely.
it was nice, and it was good to get out there. And I brought the camera and tried to film some stuff for some videos that are coming up. And got on the bike a couple times the past week. I did this ride with Sean, and Sean Henry's like a friend. Sean Henry's a friend of the show.
Yeah.
He'll come on the show at some point, I assume, because
I've been telling him to come on forever. He's way more interesting than we are. He's a very funny guy.
He's
too.
very witty, and I think it
Yes.
would be really perfect for
very
the show.
good sense of humor. Yeah.
We went for a ride on Saturday, and we did this ride that was just like what you and I would do. And he was like, "Hey, you want to do this ride? Like, you have to lead." And I was like, "Okay, well, here are the rules. You see a road that we don't know where it goes, then you take.
We're going down it.
You go that way.
Lance
Or
did that
you
to me
go-
yesterday.
I did.
It's fun. It's a fun way to ride.
Except I was as lost as Jake was.
And Sean sent me a text yesterday, or after our ride, and he said something like, "That was just like being a kid and just go riding your bike around."
Exactly.
And
It's
I was
fun.
like,
That was
"It-
so awesome."
It was perfect.
But you know what? How many new roads have we
You find
found
cool
and-
stuff.
Yeah.
And we were riding on this one kind of obscure road, and I was like, and we were going to stop and have coffee, and I was like, I am not going to stop. Like, I don't have a mask. And he was like, I was like, "Do you have a mask?" And he was like, "Yes." And he's like, "I've got one." And I'm like, I can take my arm
Let's
warmer
share it.
and wrap it around my helmet, which I've done before, and it kind of like short term works. And some lady was in her driveway, and she heard us say that, and she was like, "Hey, I've got a disposable one.
I got a mask here.
I've got a mask. You can have it." And I was like,
What a nice
"Really?"
lady.
And then
my
I was
gosh.
like, I don't know. And then,
got chloroform in it?
So
Meg
he
passes out in her
he just
driveway.
passed.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'll take it. And so it was super nice. She gave me a mask, and then we went and we had coffee
Matt,
at the end of our
all you got to
ride.
do is ride around the parking lot till you see one
On the
half
ground.
buried in the dirt somewhere.
Actually,
There's your
they're laying
mask.
all over parking
That
lots
looks
these days.
clean.
That looks good.
Yeah, there's nothing I
super
can get from this.
Yeah. So it was a great ride. We had some rain this week.
A little bit.
It's hasn't been perfect. Like, I guess we'll let you guys talk about the dialed flogging ride. I skipped that one, rode indoors, even though I do really enjoy that ride.
We need the rain badly right now, though, in this region.
We've got a dry week coming up, and it's actually not a
nice.
good time for a dry
No.
week.
This is
in
not yet.
Orland,
Anybody's been
Washington.
tracking that. It is
Yeah.
scary times. Yeah.
I ran 5 miles yesterday, which is kind of long for me.
Nice.
The running side of stuff.
Solid pace, too.
How's Achilles?
It's not good.
Is it killing you?
It hurt to walk around, even like walking to the lake and stuff, like little
Sorry.
things. Yeah, it's worthless. I'm still looking into the peg leg situation because that looks like a promising option.
Peg leg technology hasn't advanced much since pirate days. So,
I don't know. I think it's moving in the right direction. That's it. Matt, out.
Mr. Evan Price.
Matt already covered. Vancouver Lake was choppy. It was a good swim.
That's fun.
For those playing along at home, every time you hear the word choppy, just take a drink.
There you go. Yeah. Vancouver Lake or choppy. You could say both. Outside of that, I'm back into some big volume training. I got 6 weeks going into Des Moines, which is my next 73.
Nice.
So it's been good. I finally got back on the track this morning. I haven't done me and Josh were talking, we haven't done 400s in a while. So
Right.
400s felt like a lot of speed, but it was really good to do. I don't feel like I'm a runner unless I'm doing like hard track sets. So whenever I do hard track sets, I feel like a runner again, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. And then outside of that, Mother's Day was yesterday. We're
yeah.
filming this on Monday. Yesterday was Sunday, which is Mother's Day. And my mother is in Ohio, so I got to FaceTime her while we were both on Zwift
Oh, wow.
in Watopia.
That's next
we
level.
were, yeah.
That's funny.
That's how I spend my Mother's Day talking to my mom is on a bicycle trainer while she is too, because it was pouring in Ohio. So
It's actually pretty cool.
yeah. But Cassie's mom was here. Betsy was here, which was awesome to get to see her. And she's doing well. And they moved. They bought a house out here, so they live right down the street from us, which is pretty cool now. So
Not their primary residence, is it?
no, they still have their home in San Jose. They're going to slowly move up here over time.
Are
and
they
we'll
just
see.
like knocking on your door? Any kids yet?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back in an hour.
They're not going to
Sweet.
permanently move up here till there is, I'm sure. But yeah,
Okay.
that's no.
You could put those grandparents to work,
Dude,
right?
It's so convenient.
Yeah,
dude,
that's
one of those things where you're like,
your
oh,
life,
I never
life decisions on where we're
realized.
going to stay is going to be close to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere where we need.
I know it was
we need
cool
help.
moving out here by myself, and now that I've been out here by myself for all, I was like, I think family out here would be great. So I think having some.
Lance, backpedal.
I rode every day this week. I had a great time. I actually went to do the beaches ride on Monday night.
Yeah.
It was
With all of us?
It was sprinkling, and I pulled into the parking lot. Nobody there.
Yeah.
Everybody bailed, so I rode home.
I waited about half an hour, and then I sent you a text. Oh yeah, by the way,
We're all.
it's
I
raining,
pull up
so-
my find my friends thing, and I'm like, oh, Matt's still at home. I guess nobody's coming. So
I love that you guys can find me anytime.
I know it's too funny.
Yeah.
The rest of the week, I did a couple team rides. We had a team mountain bike ride, which was
sure
a
did.
ton of fun on Tuesday. That was good. We had a little.
Wait. Yeah. You showed some pictures.
We had the Hayden family show up, and they have a 10-year-old girl, Whitney. I shouldn't say their names, and a 7-year-old boy that showed up. And guess who hung with the group?
They can crush.
Yes, they can crush. It was so cool to have these little
Have you
kids.
ridden with Hayden enough to know that clearly there's a gene in that family that is insanely strong?
I'm kind of
Yeah.
flying down a
different
trail, and Hayden.
Oh, different Hayden.
That's their
Yeah.
last name.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Whitney Hayden.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
She rode
okay.
with us on Zwift like
I'm thinking
this
Weirmans.
winter.
Yeah.
once.
All winter, yeah.
Yeah.
Her goal was always to stick with us for the first, I think, hour is what her
Yeah.
goal was.
That's also my goal.
Turning herself inside out to keep
I
up
did
with
see
the
these
group,
kids, actually. I
and
saw the
her mom would send me profiles of her heart rate. Good Lord, was
200 the whole
she
time?
was just crushing.
Oh, they're hummingbirds at that age. You
Yeah.
like average 190 on a ride.
but
Yeah.
she's like putting out. It was like over 4 watts per kilogram to stay with the group.
Seriously?
Oh yeah,
Gosh.
she's
Amazing.
10.
Yeah. She's 10. So that was
I just-
really cool to rip around some trails, and it was.
Kids are monsters on
It was a
mountain
good
bikes.
time.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. Then we had our flogging ride on Thursday.
Nice and dry.
No, it rained the whole time,
Mother Nature got the invite. She showed up.
but it was not cold. It was like 65 degrees, so it wasn't cold. So I was still like bare sleeves and all that.
Yeah.
I actually promptly got dropped on that ride.
Oh, no.
I think I was carrying a little fatigue from the previous weekend's gravel race, and I gapped at the wrong time and got dropped. Interesting thing on that ride, my normalized power for that ride was 312, and I don't normally
Like an hour and 10 minutes? Hour and
Yes.
15 minutes?
and I don't normally ever
Jeez.
have a normalized power that high on a ride, but that
Wow.
not a race.
Let
So
alone a road ride, too.
I was working, and I still got dropped on that. From the A group. I should clarify, I got dropped from the A group.
Yeah.
Too bad there wasn't a B group chasing your tail.
Man, I could have
work-
used it.
yeah.
That's right.
So-
No joke.
Ton of fun. From there, I went to Bend. I went back to Central Oregon. I did a mountain bike race. And so
Like you do.
this was the Chain Breaker mountain bike race. It was a 24-mile race with about 2,000 feet of climbing, I think what it was.
Did you break your chain?
I did not break my chain,
Okay.
but,
There you go.
but my bottom bracket was creaking at me the whole time. Our field, this is kind of a funny story. We were able to start in one wave. There was 25 people in our wave. I competed in the Cat 250 to 59 group, and we had 25 of us. And we roll up to the start, and our starter was Chuck Kenlin, the director of OBRA, our Oregon Bicycle Racing Association. He sees us all roll up, and he goes, "Okay, anybody who beats Lance gets $100."
That's awesome.
What?
He
That is
said
so
that.
awesome.
He said that to the group, and I'm
I
like,
love-
"What? Wait, Chuck, you can't do this." Plus, Court Johnson, who's a guy I've been battling all
Yeah.
year, we've raced 4 times together. He's beat me 3 times.
Didn't need any
Yeah.
more motivation. Yeah, he
So-
did not need it.
So Court looks at me and he's like, "If I win, I'll split it with you." And I'm like, "Deal."
Let me win, and you'll.
So
I think we really need as a team to embrace the Bond villain thing at these races. Like really just embrace the dark, the like dark Empire type Star Warsy vibe.
We could have the Empire music play when like
Yeah, whenever you guys roll up to the
Lance,
line.
Lance
yeah.
moves to the starting.
I'm concerned for me and Josh at triathlons. I'm just gonna like play that in the background as we come up now.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the race was pretty crazy. 25 miles on a mountain bike, roughly an hour and 45 minutes is what it took us. I think an hour 47 is what we raced. But
Long mountain bike race. That hurts.
we took off, and Court and I kind of dropped the whole field right at the beginning. There were some strong guys in there, but we ended
away.
up beating most of the field by like 3 or 4 minutes, I believe. But 5 miles into the race, Court gapped me. I was just sitting on his wheel, and I told him, "I'm just going to sit on your wheel as long as I can." And he actually pulled away from me on an uphill section, and I thought, that's it, he's gone. There's no way I'm going to see him again. Then there was like a 10-mile section that was rolling, like punchy, sharp climbs and all this single track and technical stuff. I caught him.
Yeah, got back on.
He got away like by a minute from me, and I'm passing his teammates, and I'm like, "Where's Court?" And they're like, "He's like minutes up the road." And I'm like, "Pull me up to your teammate." They're like, "No, you pull me up." It was funny. But I ended up catching him, which I did not think I'd see him again, and I catch up to Court on this downhill section that was like a double track section, and I tried to blow past him just to like
just go,
just to like completely demotivate him.
Yep.
Like, oh man, Hepler caught me. But the road went back uphill, and he caught back up to me, and he beat me into the very last section of single track. There was like 5 miles of single track left, and he beat me into it, and
that was that.
That was it. I couldn't get around him. No, and we were catching all this lap traffic.
Oh yeah.
And so we and we're both yelling at each other. It was just too funny. I'm like, okay, Court, no flats, no crashes. Let's just race this straight up. He's like, yes, no flats, no crashes. Let's go. And so we're both just like gassing ourselves. And he beat me by 6 seconds.
That's good.
So I ended up losing. And it's mostly because we were catching lap traffic. It wasn't smooth passing lap traffic. And then I couldn't get around him. And he beat me. So I took second. I lost. So
how many races have you done this year? Roughly?
15, maybe?
15?
I think so. Something like that.
Sounds about right.
Holy cow. How many times have you landed on the podium?
All of them.
Have you missed the podium at all?
Yeah, I missed the podium at a Voodoo race up in. I was fourth at a race up there.
You poor sap.
Yeah, and so I've had a good start of the year. I might just quit now because it's not going to get any better.
Well done, Hepler. Well done.
We need to get a stage race or two into you because that's.
I just did the gravel stage race.
Well, I'm saying like road stage
and
race.
I won all 3 stages.
With a TT,
that's right.
So we can get you on a TT bike for an actual stage race.
No,
he's going to Baker City.
That's like the worst thing that I do is time trial.
I know, but we need to get you on a TT bike then.
Yeah. Anyway.
What's next?
There's actually a road race this week up near Olympia.
Okay.
Vance
Creek road race. It's part
sold out, yeah?
It's sold out.
Teammates going?
Yeah.
I do have some teammates, but because there's field size limits, there's only 30 people per field can start, and all my teammates are in there's 2 40-plus masters groups. All my teammates are in the other group. So I'm in the group without any teammates.
Okay.
Did you try maybe petitioning the promoter to see if you can get a flip-flop with somebody else in the other group?
Everybody's kind of trying to do that, so we're kind of waiting till game day to see if they'll let us do that.
Gotcha.
So it's a little screwy.
Huh.
And it's a 40-plus 1, 2, 3, 4 field. So
Just the whole crew then.
What's
basically.
the breakdown of the course?
it's a 13-mile loop, and I think our field does 4 laps. So it's like 58. It's 50.
It's a longer road
It's like
race.
58 miles or something like that. And it's only 300 feet
Per lap? Really?
So it's fairly flat. It's a little roly punches.
Reach out to the promoter, tell him to flip-flop the group around, and ask him if he's got an extra spot.
Yes, that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
hear.
that'd be interesting.
No, I bet he isolated you on purpose.
No, he purely did it by
Totally random.
But no, it was just registration order.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Ian Gibson and Chris Hitchcock, they're in the other field. I'm in this field, but it's with like Rob Tornai and Greg Steele and there's some guys.
Those are hitters that I used to love racing against.
Yeah.
You can get Greg.
That's if I can stay with them.
Yeah,
I have proven not to make that good of decisions on a road bike just yet.
Greg's pretty strong. On the flat stuff,
strong.
he's going to hang with your 1-2 guys, no problem. He's
Yeah.
got punch at the end, too, so
Yeah.
could be interesting.
Could be interesting.
Cool.
You just put out 312 for an hour and 15 minutes, though. You can hang. You can hang.
But then, so that race ended up being a ton of fun. I did a great job. Then I went over to Sisters, Oregon, and rode Mackenzie Pass.
Oh, I saw those pictures.
Yeah.
You wrote something in there, and it was like, I did this ride strictly for
I purely did it for the snow wall
and
pictures.
I'm totally on board for that.
There's like a 25-foot snow wall at the top. That
I'm totally going to do the same thing. I should have.
I had no business getting on a bike and riding 30 more miles with 2,500 feet of elevation gain. But
Does that snow wall completely melt in the summer?
Yeah.
That's a lot of snow.
I
Yeah.
know.
Was
How'd
that
they
on
clear
Mother's Day?
Glacial.
I'd be amazed to watch them how they clear that.
They have to wait till part of it is melted before they can snowplow because it's on a tight corner too
Right.
where
I'm
the
Totally,
snow
that's
is.
a massive snow wall.
Yeah.
It's pretty
like Colorado-esque,
it's neat.
yeah.
What day was that? Was that yesterday?
It was Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
You should have called me and been like, let's go do the snow wall.
Well, it was spur of the moment.
I
It's
know.
like I'm not dead. I should go spin my legs out. Wait. The snow wall's
The
still up.
snow wall.
I want to go see the snow wall. You have to ride 14 miles to get to it.
Yeah.
What do we need? What video or photo should we get? Like, do you think a drone shot with a snow wall would be interesting?
That would be killer. A 360 shot would be kind of cool too.
Very.
I
Yeah.
feel like we need
All
something.
of them. Just let's go take pictures
Let's
of
do all of it.
All, yeah.
Okay.
3-hour drive from here.
Whatever.
Then you ride a couple hours.
Sweet.
That's it. Then I rode with Jake and we found new roads and got KOMs on it.
Yay.
Yeah.
What road?
I don't know.
Just like 78th Street, somewhere
Random.
in some random road. We're like, hey, there's kind of a tailwind. Let's hit this as hard as we can. And so we hit as hard as we could.
Nice.
That was fun. I think Lance already touched on everything. What else did I do this past week? We did the mountain bike route or
Family stuff.
Well, yeah, we did Mother's Day stuff.
Family.
Yeah. Flogging ride was probably the highlight of the. Well, no, the mountain biking was pretty fun too with those kids.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. The flogging ride, though, I think this week we could probably have north of 60 people out there.
It's going to be warm and sunny.
Yep.
I still like
People are
my
gonna show
idea
up.
of having like signs on the road that's like Thursday night, 60 cyclists, out here letting, cars know that that's a thing that's recurring.
Yep. And maybe it's
Especially
like a
this
SAG
summer.
vehicle, some hazard lights
Yeah.
going.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's not a bad idea.
Maybe we could go over to that guy's house who screamed at me already and just tell him, hey, just so you know,
Just so you know.
60 of your favorite people are going to be rolling through here on Thursday
You got,
evenings.
you got screamed at last time?
No, that's when we did the large mountain thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't like
That
us.
is just such a fun ride, though. I'm having so much fun doing it. This is week 9 already coming up, believe it or not. And it just keeps getting better each week. Last week we had rain. It was still a blast.
Still
We
good.
came back and we were just all covered in road grime and dirt
Yes.
and mud. Just
Yep.
it was funny. I walked to my wife's like, whoa. So cool. Let's move on to some bigger and better things. How about a little Patreon drawing? You guys want to do some Patreon stuff?
Patreon.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit thinner here on the Patreon jar because we've been pulling names out of it, trying to get a little bit of parity here because we've got so much stuff in that bin. We want to have everybody have a chance so that Rob Buck doesn't win everything.
Christopher Reel.
All right, Christopher.
Reel.
Yep. I believe he is the one that you actually met, Lance, out at
I recognize that name quite a bit.
Vancouver
actually.
Lake
Oh, okay.
at the duathlon.
At the
Yeah.
duathlon.
Yeah. Very
Came
nice
up
guy.
and
A couple weeks ago, you mentioned something about somebody, but it was him.
Yeah.
nice to
Christopher,
meet you,
we've got
Christopher.
a nice bed for you to come down here and pick. There's actually even a helmet in there now, believe it or not.
Oh, grab the helmet, Chris.
It's
Go for the helmet.
lightly used, but it's still a nice helmet nonetheless.
still
so.
a helmet.
As long as it's not lightly crashed. That's all that matters.
Not crashed at all.
I had to buy a new helmet this week
Yeah.
because I bounced my head off the pavement last weekend.
If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, go to dialpodcast.com, click on the Patreon link there, and choose a Patreon that works out best for you. To all of our Patreons, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And I am going to be reaching out to some of you because we want to have the listener hotline come back, and I want to use our Patreons for that. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Nice.
Stay tuned.
Excellent.
Cool. Let's move on to this stuff right here.
I'm all about having fun. Get a
'em
couple
on.
of cocktails
Keep 'em
in me,
on.
start a fire.
I saw Anchorman 2 recently.
Maybe go to SeaWorld, take my pants
Oh,
off.
he took his pants off again.
It's an
Champ Bailey.
excellent movie.
Champ Bailey here. Word
up?
of the day, Taco Vanderhorn.
Yes.
Taco Vanderhorn.
Vanderhorn. It's Horn. It's 2 O's.
Whatever. I don't know what it is.
Oh, real quick. Hey, look at that. Christopher's actually watching the live stream. He
Yeah,
chimed
Chris.
That's
winner,
awesome.
winner, chicken dinner.
Also, shout out to Cliff. How's it going, Cliff? And Jerry.
Jerry, yep.
Okay, so big news. The tour. What is it?
The Giro
The
d'Italia.
Giro d'Italia.
I'm the only Italian one here. I feel like I should be talking here, okay?
The Giro d'Italia
Lance is
started
gonna
this
butcher
week.
every name.
Gyro. Gyro die.
Love eating those gyros. We're on day 3 as of recording. The first stage, Filippo Ganna is just showing his time trial prowess. He is a
I wish I could just
Beast.
post up me,
He's okay.
David, and Dustin's text stream whenever there's a grand tour. It's hilarious.
Is it?
Every single time. It's just random updates. Like Dustin he's like, in case anybody was wondering, Ghana still rides fast.
It was only like a 9-minute effort because it was a prologue, and still Ghana averaged like 550 watts.
590.
Pardon me, 590 watts.
Seriously?
Yes.
590 watts.
For 9 minutes?
I was so you all remember Kit back on this.
Oh,
Kit
yeah.
is he's even a better cycling historian than I am, and he would definitely say. I mean, he was trying to compare efforts. He said that might have been the most impressive prologue ride ever. Like,
Does that count
period.
the motor that's built into the bike, or is it just
So we
pure
talked
legs?
about So Cancellara definitely has had efforts that are very close to that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and even pre-power meter era. But like, I mean, 590 watts for 9 minutes is
crazy.
And it's the position he holds. If anybody watches Ghana, like, I mean, the guy is
amazing.
He's in the most sleek position you can get in. It's amazing. Yeah.
The second stage was actually won by a former cyclocrosser.
Yeah. Alpecin Phoenix got their first
Yeah,
Grand Tour
Alpecin
win.
Phoenix
Yeah.
got their first tour win. What was his name? Millie. I'm trying to
God,
find
I
it.
already forgot.
What's
his
the
name.
deal with all the
Millier, I
cyclocross
think.
guys?
They freaking rock.
'Cause
That's
they're
what
good
the
at
deal
bicycling.
is.
Yeah.
Come on, where are the triathletes?
That's what they're,
Yeah. Well, Cam Wharf is the only one
they're
flying.
peeing in their wetsuit down at the lake.
We got
busy peeing in there.
we got Cam Wharf flying that
Cam
flag,
Wharf.
and that's about it.
Yeah,
And then today was won by Taco Vander Hoorn.
Yep.
Okay.
Amazing, that guy.
He,
Oh,
he broke away with like 15K to go
Yep.
and was definitely getting reeled in and held off the.
I love that.
He
Yeah.
held him off
You
by
gotta
like
love that.
4 seconds. He just barely held
the
him
guy
off.
he was with too. The amazing part of him holding that off. The guy he's with, he attacks this guy to drop him with like what had to be north of 1,000-watt
Right,
effort.
right.
And you're like, oh well, there was his match. He's done. And this guy just held on somehow.
Was that this morning? Was that this morning's?
Yeah.
It was this
stage?
morning.
Yeah, it was this morning.
Taco.
Taco Vanderhoorn,
TACO.
Dutch
Taco.
rider on
They-
I believe Italian team. He's on an Italian
Yeah,
team.
they were saying it Taco, or
okay.
they were pronouncing it differently,
Yeah,
but
his name's
But everybody's like,
Taco.
no.
but we're in America.
Taco.
We're calling him
His-
Taco.
his name
Too
is for
bad it's
sure
Monday.
Taco.
This
Yeah.
could have been Taco Tuesday, and it's not. It's
I know.
Taco Monday.
Tomorrow, he could still do well tomorrow.
He could still win tomorrow.
No, he's going to be
that
dead
guy's
last
getting
tomorrow.
dropped out the bat tomorrow.
Is he wearing the pink jersey right now?
No, Philip
No,
Pagana
Ghana
still has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Here's the big question for Ineos. How long do they want to keep that? I mean, do they want to defend? Because here, I mean,
Not for him.
Ineos' plan is obviously to win.
Yes.
I mean, their plan is
but
to win.
for who?
Well, and that's the thing is, it doesn't almost matter because they'd have to still play defensive tactics, stage 1 to stage 21 or whatever. I mean, that's a long time to keep the pink. I wonder as soon as they get in the mounts if they're just like, somebody else take this
Yeah,
from us. We
maybe.
don't want to do the work anymore.
So crazy.
Did you wake up and watch it live?
I watched the last 20K just
Okay.
while I was doing work stuff.
Tell everybody
morning.
how you're
Okay.
watching it.
I'm watching on GCN Plus.
GCN Plus.
GCN Plus, and I got the deal when the deal's done now, but they were doing a $20 for the year deal
That's
for
so
a bit.
cheap and so
It was
worth
so
it.
nice.
That's great.
So I get to watch the Giro, the Vuelta, and the Tour, which is great.
They're carrying the
Are they carrying
TDF?
the tour?
That's the rumors that they're
Now,
carrying TDF.
Is it going to be the live or is it going to be like a
Probably not.
It'll be live on either Peacock or on NBC Sports.
Yeah.
NBC Sports one's the one I do every
Yeah.
year.
And
I'm
Well,
just
they-
happy that they got the Giro live, which is amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
They, I
was
think
shocked.
they turned off NBC Sports, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
They kill
Well,
it.
Peacock is now NBC's streaming service,
Right.
And it's included if you already had.
It might be worth
Cable.
it because I was paying for NBC Sports and
Uh-huh.
it's probably the same price as
I'm
Peacock.
going to drop
Yeah.
NBC Sports and
Or
just
I'll
get
just-
Peacock.
Yeah, I'll
Peacock,
probably
yeah.
do that, and then I'll probably just use it for this summer block, maybe of I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because they also have The Office, which you guys know if you're history, if you're watching the podcast for a long time,
If you're a history buff, you know The Office, yeah.
and that's important in our family, and that also like Parks and Rec and stuff like that is on
Another
there.
great
That's
show.
classic,
Another
yeah.
excellent show. Yeah.
All right, there was also a mountain bike race, a World Cup mountain bike race in Germany or something like that.
Vanderpool.
And Matthew Vanderpool lined up. He hadn't raced in a couple weeks, so he went to the mountain bike race. And there was a short track race 2 days before. Vanderpool won the short track race.
Yeah.
But in the World Cup race, Vanderpool did not win. He ended up like 7th, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I can't remember the guy's names. who won.
Isn't it interesting that like the story
These-
Here it is.
story is
Yeah,
that
it's
Vanderpool did not
doesn't
win, and not the guy who won.
Leona Lecomte and Victor Koretsky, they're the two who won. And Koretsky actually won by like a last-ditch sprint in like the last corner and got around the guy. Pretty amazing. Tom Pidcock also showed up and did the race. He ended up like...
Is Pidcock going to do the
ninth.
double at the Olympics?
He might be. He's like 21 years old.
He's the most talented.
What's he have to lose?
He's the most talented cyclist in the world right now, in my opinion. If you're looking at young, like who is the most talented, Tom Pidcock is a guy who could literally, in his early 20s, jump to any event right
Yeah.
now in Grand Tour lead.
The thing I love about
Remco's
Pidcock,
close, but-
guess what bike Pidcock raced? The BMC
Really?
4-stroke.
Really?
Unlabeled, right?
It was unlabeled
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
his team has a
Pinarello
different
or
deal.
something.
Yeah, Pinarello deal. And they don't have a mountain bike.
I was about to ask, does Pinarello make a mountain bike?
No.
He's,
When are we
he's
gonna
on,
do-
he's on the road bike, just puts a 40 in his road bike. Sorry, Pinarello told me I have to race this.
I gotta race this. When are we going to do our like Tour de France like preview prediction competition?
Right,
Next
like
month.
the day the Giro's done, we gotta plan that.
Do we? I just feel like we should
Yeah.
have a whole podcast dedicated to like our
The tour.
predictions.
Ah.
And then,
Our poor
then we have it
predictions.
written down. Like you usually write it down each year, and then someone's the loser.
Yep.
Yep.
It's usually me.
Evan is the loser. Also, there was a triathlon. St. George
Yes.
went off.
That was a good one.
So we didn't talk about the.
Wait, when we talked about it last week.
We did.
No,
We
talked
did
about
not
it again,
mention.
though.
We did not mention the
Matt,
pro race.
Matt talked about St. George.
Did you talk about? Okay, so I'm going
Yes,
to talk
we
about it
did.
now
But I don't-
because I have
there.
watched that finish. All of you cyclists listen to this. They're like, "Oh, I don't care about triathlon."
Yeah, there was a sprint
Watch-
finish at the end, right?
Watch the last 5K of that and tell me you don't get emotional watching that.
You cry a little bit.
Those two men cried and embraced at the end of that race.
That
They
was a good
cried.
finish.
Those are two grown men who raced each other, finished like collapsed at the line, and then embraced and cried.
That was
know if
like
you're selling it,
that was
but-
like me and Court Johnson at the finish.
there
of
you
the
go. Just
mountain bike.
embrace and cry.
We were actually yard sailed on the ground, like dry heaving, because we'd gone so
There you
deep.
go.
So it's the same kind of thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Same type of effort too, and same
Same
type of
kinda thing.
athletes.
Olympic level. Effort.
Olympic level,
just like you.
just like me and Court, 50-year-old.
There you go.
Over the hill.
Same idea.
Just same thing.
Exact same effort.
Don't burst my bubble.
It actually is
Evan.
the.
I got a bubble I'm living in, and I'm staying. in
It actually might have felt harder for you two. I think you two actually might have dug deeper.
All right, Chad Bailey out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our topic for the day. You guys ready for this? Guess what's right around the corner?
Summer riding season.
Summer, baby. And it doesn't have to be just summer riding. It can be triathlon
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
You guys want to get into a little bit? I know that our
we
cover
will.
art like kind of left out all the triathlon
Oh,
stuff.
there's a wetsuit on there. It's just half.
No,
choppy
that's a
water.
base layer.
Very choppy summer
No,
waters.
it's a wetsuit.
That's what I wear in my triathlons. Just the top.
Nothing else. Buns
Nothing
out.
else. Buns out.
Got to tan the buns.
So we're going to get into summer preparedness, and there's pretty much 3.5 different things that I want to get into. The first thing is going to be what we suggest people have. Like, what are some of the absolute essentials that people have, and what of those essentials, what do we recommend? The next thing is what are some new stuff coming out, so that maybe you're thinking about getting something, but something's coming out very soon. You know, Matt LeGrand over here, he's got all the inside scoop on everything now.
I don't-
'cause
if
everybody
I-
goes to him and says, "Hey, Matt
They
LeGrand, will you
always
review our
ask
stuff?"
me. They're like,
What's
"When's-
coming out?"
They're waiting. Everyone's waiting for the 955 from Garmin, and I'm like, I will talk about that because I don't know anything.
Is
If
that a
there's
new
some-
triathlon watch?
Yeah, but like if I know something's coming out, I won't talk about it
Why?
because
Because you get in trouble.
Can't.
because I don't want to burn relationships with
Yeah.
the vendors that are sometimes letting me review their products.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
And then the last thing is stuff that we are personally going to be picking up this summer, and that would be the three things. The point five is if you're doing any racing, what are some stuff that you need for the summer racing? So let's start off with a list. We'll just run around the table a few times here of things that we think people need to make sure that they have so that they are ready to go ride their bicycle and do triathlon stuff this summer.
I'll start.
Go ahead, Matt.
I think that all of us potentially need to order up some new sunscreen because each year your sunscreen is supposed to expire.
Oh, really?
Now your tan lines are pretty good. I'm going to give those a 4 out of 10 because here's the thing.
There's two different
You have the
two different
triathlon line?
jerseys.
You have a triathlon line?
Race
It's
cut.
not a tra-
Race
race
cut. Race cut and training cut.
Training cut.
So here's the thing. I think in
Mine's not
another
too
month,
strong.
those things
go
are going to
right for me.
they'll be razor sharp. You'll get those lines.
Yes, they
razor
will
sharp.
be.
Yeah, they will.
Sunscreen is a good one.
Sunscreen. So here's the thing. Yeah. So your sunscreen it doesn't have like an indefinite lifespan. If you're like me, you have, sunscreen from, 1997 and you're like, this will work. right?
Grease it up.
What my wife and I have been doing is writing the year on the bottle
that's a good
itself
call.
when we buy
Yeah.
it, and then sometimes I say that it expires after a year, or whatever, but like usually I'll push it.
And
so it's like
as we
all-
know, Kristen's skin genetically is much better than your pale white pasty.
Yeah.
And your poor kids seem to
Yeah.
have inherited that too. And
yes,
this is
Dash. I think
Dash has a
little
yeah
dark.
has a little
But,
olive
like,
to his skin. Yeah.
Ethan's definitely
Ethan, no.
poured it.
This-
But
yeah.
my wife is actually better about wearing sunscreen too than I am. I always, I'm scared of having sunscreen dip into my eyes.
Yeah.
Like
It's a
that's
reasonable
the
fear.
worst. And so I put sunscreen on for biking. I put it underneath the eyes only, and then I wash my hands so that I don't accidentally get
Football style.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a weird? I have such a weird sensory thing with my. Anytime I have
Your hands
lotion or
slimy.
sunscreen on my hands, it drives me like insane. I
Half
need
the
to get it
reason
off
why I
my
don't like
hands.
putting it on in the first place is just getting
Dude,
it
the
on my
hand
hands.
yeah. Cassie's like,
the
you're an
worst.
idiot. Why do you care about that? I was like, I never let lotion touch my skin because it's got to be on my fingertips then, and it drives me nuts. So
Puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
and the hose better get all that off, or I'm in trouble.
So yeah, sunscreen. Do it, people.
It's a good one. Evan, what do you
Order it
got?
up.
Nutrition. This is, I think, during the winter,
Okay.
I do a really good job of letting that go by the wayside.
Me too.
In terms of making sure that I have enough tailwind for me. Everybody's different and all that. Making sure that you got figured out, like, okay, if I'm a high salt sweater, or I know that, I run into dehydration issues on longer rides, make sure that you know what kind of formula you want to be going with going into the summer, because as the rides get longer, they get hotter. All of a sudden, you're out there with Lance doing a 5-hour gravel ride, and you're still like rocking water bottles and like one Coke in your pocket. Like, you're probably going to bonk hard that you wouldn't have during the fall when it's beautiful and 50, and you don't have to worry about it as much.
Okay, I rode with Jake yesterday. It ended up being almost 3-hour ride, like a 2.5-hour ride. Guess what I took with me?
Like a water bottle.
A water bottle.
Yeah.
N-
Oh,
I
I've
had-
done that before. Yeah.
I had no calories, no anything. We didn't plan. We didn't know what we were doing. And then we just got together and we're like, oh, let's go here. So it ended up being like 50 miles for me and like 45 for Jake. And I was
Thirsty.
I was hungry at the end. I was very hungry at the end.
Yeah. Summer riding sneaks up on you with not like having
It's
like
nice
not
out.
being stocked up on.
It's nice,
enough
and you want to
electrolytes
just stay
and
on the
everything.
bike.
Right. I get into the bad habit of like during the wintertime, it's just cold and you're not sweating as much and you just don't drink very
like
much
half a
fluid,
water bottle,
if
yeah.
that. And then all of a sudden it's summertime and you're like, you forget to drink and you get
Yeah.
all crampy and whatnot. On that ride yesterday, I took one swig off my water bottle and I had food with me, but I didn't touch it. But I was fine.
And it was 2.5 hours.
I was fine.
For the triathletes, this is important because I've realized for myself, this is actually why I'm doing my key workouts still indoors right now. Is I want to control my sweat rate, because you get off the bike after a 2-3 hour hard like sweet spot type ride and then go and try to run 12 miles after that. Like, that's when the cramps really hit.
Right.
Is on the run.
So,
yeah.
did you guys notice that Gatorade has this new product? It's like a sweat patch that you can put on your arm, and you can
I did
check
see
your
this,
sweat
yeah.
rates, and you
Yeah, I
can check
saw
your
this.
sweat content.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah,
Just lick
I
your arm.
ordered some, and I'm gonna
I'll test it.
do a
That'd be cool.
review. Yeah, I'll do a review. What'd you do? Just lick your arm?
Yeah, just lick your arm.
Just lick your arm. Taste
Salty.
Taste salty.
It's not a bad idea.
Probably need,
It's
probably need some Gatorade.
We'll just look at your clothes. If you get
It's a
done,
little bitter with that sunscreen,
There's
but-
salt encrusted the entire time.
yeah.
Cool. So know your nutrition, take your nutrition, have your nutrition dialed in. Probably
Yep.
not a good thing if we're going to talk about the racing stuff to try new nutrition
Probably not
before
the time,
races. So right now is actually the time that you want
unless
to
it's
be.
in your first season of racing, which I do coach
Tinkering
Kobe with.
with
This is their
stuff,
first season of racing. I'm like, we're gonna have to try new things.
Yeah,
So.
Don't try new stuff if you're going to go out and do like a century for the first time in a long time or some
Yep.
ultra something or other. Yeah,
Yep.
good times.
Know your formula and just stick with it.
Lance, go ahead.
Don't forget your flat kit. I destroyed a saddlebag recently, like a zipper ripped out, and I haven't replaced the saddlebag yet. So
Just go back pocket like an actual cyclist.
that's what I've
Would you
been
do that?
doing. I put one tube in, and then I have
Yeah.
a little zipper pouch that has
Your CO2 as well.
CO2 and a tire lever and a
Yeah.
tool, and that goes in on top of it. So yeah, my center pocket is just taken up by my flat kit because I don't have another.
Yeah, and if it's
center
been a
pocket.
while since you've been outside riding, it might not be a bad idea to do some inventory. Make sure that your CO2 hasn't already been used, or
Yeah.
it's an old
Oh, I've done that before.
tube
Yeah,
that's been
like the little puncture holes. in
yeah,
there.
an old tube that flatted on you and you just stuffed it back in there. That kind of stuff. Make sure that you've got a
Make sure your lungs
multi-tool
are good
with
to
all
go.
the pieces and parts on there that work with your specific bike. So that's pretty important.
That's it.
Cool. I'm going to tell people that it might not be a bad idea to make sure that you've got a light that works, because you still want to use a flashy light out there so people can see you, and make sure that that's for the front and the rear. And if you've got a few extra bucks and it's important to you to, be safe, think about getting the Varia radar.
Yep.
The Garmin Varia radar is fantastic.
We're 4 for 4 on the Varia radar.
Yeah, we all have the
here.
Varia right
And
now.
I don't like to ride without it, so I actually have 2 of them.
Cassie's got one too.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them. But make sure your lights are up to speed. What else you got, Matt?
I have a whole bunch of stuff, but I would say now's a good time to check your tires, because the road conditions right now are gross. A lot of glass in the right in the bike lane. And so I would say now's a great time to have a look at that and see if you need new tires at this point. And then, typically what I would say is maybe not exactly right now, but maybe like in a month is a perfect time to change your tires, because then the roads start to get kind of smooth and nice and clear, and you can go a lot longer on, on puncture type stuff. Of course,
I think
you're
that's
tubeless.
This
might be a different
This
story.
drives me nuts this time of year with glass. It's like, what does everybody just like go to the lake and it's just drink it in the car here and just chuck this out the window here? Is that the only reason that we have so much glass on the road?
Don't understand why there's so. I mean,
this
there's
time of year
that
comes
many,
around, there's so much glass on the road.
There's that many people
Idiots.
that don't care. Out there.
Yep.
That blows me away.
It's just
too.
one guy. He just travels a lot.
It's gotta be.
He travels a lot and drinks a lot of glass bottles.
Not even beer. He's just drinking old classic Coke. He just chucks out the classic.
I'm going to go one up on that tire thing. And if you haven't done it yet, strongly think about going tubeless. It is so much better than tubed. If you're lingering, if you're a holdout, it's time. The only time that I would tell somebody to maybe not think about it is if their wheels that they have just are not tubeless compatible, and you don't have the income or the funds to throw out a new wheel set. If you've got a set of wheels that are probably 3, 4, 5 years old, chances are they're going to be tubeless compatible.
Probably.
And you should be riding tubeless. 100% on that one.
My road bike needs to go tubeless. My TT bike is now tubeless.
Yeah.
And my cross bike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check your helmets, folks. Check your helmets.
Oh, that's a good one.
Those things, they say that they have an expiration date. We've done this topic before in the past. People sometimes say it's 2 to 3 years. Some people will say 5 to 7 years. I personally try and change my helmet out every 3 years, so I'm coming up on needing a new helmet.
I'm in that.
I change mine out every 6 months. Mostly because there's a giant dent in it.
Yeah.
But it's probably a good time to consider that, and just go
overdue.
do an inspection. If you see any kind of delamination, cracking, foam doesn't look all that great, or it's just been a long time, it's probably time. So what else you got, Matt?
I think we kind of have touched on this, but if I think a lot of the people that listen to the podcast are pretty bike savvy. So this is kind of a twofer, but now it's a good time to check your chain for wear, see how it's looking, see if you're going to save your components a good bit of life if you can change out that chain on a regular basis. Maybe now's the time to check that out. It's pretty simple with just the chain checker tool to check those. The other thing that I will say is if you're listening to this podcast and you're not super, super bike tech savvy, and I think, I wrote myself into this. It's maybe this is the time that you bring your bike into a place, maybe like the Dialed Cycling Lab here, and just say I need a tune-up.
Yep. I was going to add to that and say that very thing.
Just like a tune-up kind of thing?
Yes. And now's the time to do it because a lot of bike shops,
they get swamped.
They're 1 week to 4 weeks out, depending upon where you're at in terms of how soon they can get a bike back to you. So don't think that you've got a big ride coming up on Saturday that you can go in on Wednesday or Friday and get it tuned up. You're probably going to be without your bike for a few weeks. So get it done now.
So
just
bring
get ahead
it
of the
on
curve.
Monday and don't need it till
That's
Sunday.
why I don't want to bring my bike in.
This is why
I don't want
it
to leave it here for a couple weeks.
This is why I always bring it in before I know 7 to 10 days before I feel like I'm going to need it.
Plus, a fresh tune-up is so nice. It's just butter. It's quiet. It works better. You're going faster. Get it done.
Yeah.
Evan, going off of Matt's note there, so this is going back to the triathlon world or cyclists that are gearing up for stage races, as we were just talking about. If you have a TT bike or if you have a triathlon bike, probably time to start getting comfortable with your fit. See if you need to adjust the fit a little bit, and see if there's different parts you might have to buy to adjust the fit. When we're talking about we were talking about Filippo Ganna's position as the TT position changes and evolves over time. If you feel hey, I really want to cut down my bike split, it is a lot of free speed. Now it takes time and training in it, so if you've got your Ironman coming up in August or September, let's say, you should not be making your TT adjustments in July. You should be making your TT adjustments in May right now.
Right.
You should be, if you need to tilt the aero bars more up, if you need different nutritional placement, if you need anything like that, you need to start doing it now so that you have time to adapt to that position. Because, road bike shifts are similar. If you're getting new equipment on your road bike, you need to be riding it before you race, but you're racing almost every weekend if you're a cyclist. If you're a triathlete, you're planning on a 4-month build of training. You should not be 3-month building a training in your old position, then plan on switching it late game.
I got a question.
Yeah.
It looks like over the last several years that arm position has changed drastically.
Yes.
For time trial position.
Oh, you want to see a true drastic change? Look at the early 90s compared to where we're at right now.
I mean, arms used to be like flat.
Oh, flat or tilted down.
Or tilted down.
Jan Ulrich famously, literally had his hands tilted. I think he was at like a 10-degree tilt down on his bike, on his Bianchi. Yeah.
And now they're like
praying mantis all the way up here.
Is that because it cuts the wind a little differently?
So think of it this way: their guys do a lot better videos on this. But as the triathlon position has changed, Anthony Costas was a French guy who really first at Kona, in my opinion, kind of went into this crazy praying mantis position like here, and people were like making fun of him, but he's right out the front.
Yeah,
strong guy. But what they were talking about is this: if I can shrink the area that touches the wind first, that's great. If I'm down here, as you can see, like if you're watching this camera, this is a massive frontal area.
It hits
right
your
here.
chest and face first.
This hits my hands first. I can get my head behind my hands. It foils that frontal area as opposed to here where my chest is what's hitting first.
So the drag coefficient just goes down if
Exactly.
those hands are up there a little bit better.
Exactly. Yep.
Is that a pretty comfortable position or more comfortable?
For me, it is, but you got to get used to it. It's not, and that's why I'm saying if you're planning on making these switches, and I have a ton of my triathlon friends are like, oh, I want to look like
so and so.
I want to look like Sam Long does on his bike. It's like, yeah, that takes a long time. That you don't just jump into that position.
How about power production? Can you generate a little bit more power in that position, you think?
I can personally because I'm able to pull a little bit better.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the praying mantis position tests sometimes faster and sometimes slower. So
I know Eric Lagerstrom has said he tested slower in that position, but I'm seeing enough guys switch to it that I think if you're taking an average, I think it's pretty solid.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that it's more popular. I think
it makes more sense aerodynamically to me.
I don't know. I think flat also, if you think about it, like your arm being flat, there's not a lot of wind hitting that particular spot. But then you hit these big, cylinder
it's
objects.
going to depend on where you can get your shoulders.
My biceps are pretty massive.
You're huge, dude.
And so
huge.
And cylinder objects are very bad
Tiny
for
forearms,
aerodynamics.
Just very small forearms. So
For
Matt
me-
needs to get out here.
For me, it's much more comfortable to be in that like praying mantis position, but I don't think it's necessarily always faster. So
yeah.
The other thing I've noticed is now the risers are really super high, right? Instead of being right down on your stem, those rests
There's some guys bringing it up.
that are bringing it up. Does that like open up the hip angle a little bit more so you can generate more power? What's the
I think it
just has to do
allows
with
you
you-
to tuck the head a little bit better, actually.
It's all about that
When
shrug.
you're really low, it's
Okay.
really hard to get your head down too because you're already straining in that position so much. If you bring yourself up here, it's real easy to
shrug.
I gotcha.
The
To
shrug is actually a lot faster.
Oh yeah, the shrug will save you way more
it's
money
like
than
10
any helmet
watts
will.
or something
Yeah.
crazy.
just to get your shoulders
Turtle.
closer to your
You're
ears?
bringing your whole body a lot more narrow.
And this becomes a lot more foiled instead of up here. It's there, and that helmet foils back.
Well, and that's different because that's head position. But
Yeah,
sometimes
that's true.
the other thing I'm seeing right now is people wearing their helmet up higher.
Yeah,
Well, that's
what Roglic was apparently trying to do.
Was it? He looked horrible.
That's what people were saying is that's what
Couture.
Roglic was doing, and I thought he just looked awful. But
He looked awful. But the reason
disheveled.
it looked like he lost his helmet.
Yeah.
But the reason you tilt that helmet is so that your pointy helmet falls in line with your back. And if it doesn't do that, like it was in his case, remember he was doing that climb? It's like, well, then it doesn't help you.
Yeah.
So
I think also just when you're not Pogačar.
when you're not Pogačar, his problem was that he wasn't Pogačar.
He wasn't Pogačar. That was his. He wasn't Slovenian enough. Apparently, Pogačar's more Slovenian than him.
Way more. But yeah, I think that we should look at your position sometime.
Definitely.
And play around with it because we have some aerodynamic
As the bike
tools
gets
that we
together,
can-
then yes. Because I'm tilting myself up now. What is it, 15 degrees, Jake? Is that
Okay.
what that thing goes?
Yeah, I think so.
The BMC adjustment?
10 degrees.
10 degrees, cool.
Yeah.
And I think we should look at your helmet and how it
Definitely.
plays in with your back and alignment that way.
Just pedal harder. Go faster.
That's what I keep on saying, but apparently that's not the cool thing
Just
now in
overcome
triathlon.
it.
No, spend money. Don't pedal
Well,
faster.
as everybody's now running 110 in the pro field, I'm like, oh, apparently you need to, be insanely fresh when you come off the bike. So.
Get a motor.
Yeah.
Lance, you got anything else?
No.
Yeah, I got one more thing. Start getting yourself. Well, first of all, go out and get yourself either Strava or Ride with GPS, and then start familiarizing yourself with how to set up routes and build routes.
Yeah.
You can look at
that's
you can
really
look
cool.
at heat maps as to where a lot of local cyclists ride, and there's a good reason why they generally ride there because there's probably less traffic, so it's going to be a little bit safer. Plus, it's a little bit more fun to build those laps, and the computers these days are fantastic.
Yeah,
They'll walk you through everything and tell you exactly where to go.
I love
and
Wahoo's maps. It's so awesome right now.
it's a lot of fun. So that's something that I would suggest is you look into those two.
Tells you when you're hitting
platforms.
KOMs. Star the KOMs.
There
I
you
just
go.
learned about this last year.
Strava is freaking awesome.
It is. It really is.
Guys, with your Strava Premium, killing me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's jump into some of the things that we know are coming out that we're not under embargo to not talk about. What you guys got anything? You guys know anything coming out? Anything special? Cool?
I've been trying to see if Nike. So if like there's going to be any. I'm trying to see the next company that's trying to throw out a carbon like a really really good carbon shoe. Right now, in my opinion, the premier lineup is you got the Hoka Mach whatever 4, I think. You got the Nike Next Percent and Alpha Fly, and you got the Saucony Endorphin Pro. I think is right there. Those three. Somebody can get mad at me if there's another one in there. I don't think Adidas falls into that yet. I don't think I see enough people really liking the Adidas yet. Yeah. So I'm wondering if Adidas is going to really throw in a shoe that's race war, like right there with those, or if maybe I think Asics has something that they have out right now, but
something I don't know.
But I'm not seeing enough people wear it. So
The
that's
Hoka
where
one.
my eyes are. Is like who's going to be the next one to throw in some ridiculous race shoe?
That Hoka one has been popular.
The Mach 4 has been very popular. I still like Nike. I
Yeah,
just stick
and
with
Nike is like an easy.
Everybody's
decision.
chasing Nike for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the difference between the run shoe world and the bike world right now. I feel like there are a couple of bike companies that could lay claim to like we have the fastest road bike.
Yeah.
Really anybody, I mean like I think anybody's being reasonable would agree Nike's the fastest shoe right now.
I think so.
Yeah.
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 Which is weird
It
because
is.
we've never ever in the past had like a
never even
shoe that
wore
was
Nike
faster than another shoe.
How many pairs of
It's a
shoes
weird
do you guys
world.
buy a year?
I used to literally run my shoes for years. I hated switching shoes. I would run for a very, very long time in them. I thought the running shoes companies claim that you need to switch every 400 miles is ridiculous. I would run one to death. And nowadays, I switch pretty frequently. I got a tempo shoe. I got a track spike shoe.
Yeah.
I got an old track tempo shoe. I got a race shoe that I don't touch unless I'm racing. And then I got a training shoe and a trail shoe.
Well, I don't think you should. The carbon shoes, those things, I don't think last that long. I think
I
should be
only race in those.
Only racing.
Only,
Yeah.
period.
Or maybe
Yeah.
some speed work.
I still don't even do my speed work in them. It's like a nice surprise on race day.
I haven't bought a pair of shoes in over 3 years.
If you don't run in them, there's like no reason to. Yeah,
Walk
that's
around the lab and that's about it. So
yeah.
crazy.
Same.
Yep. I haven't even bought road shoes in almost 3 years.
I need to get
got
recycling
I had to
shoes
get new
badly.
road
I
shoes
need to
after
get some
I
new road shoes.
Yeah,
Mine
I
are
ordered some from
gross.
Giro.
There's another one for the summer list.
It's
you
on
need
my
new
list.
shoes. Yeah.
I ordered a pair of shoes from Giro like a month ago. Still not here.
Oh, are
That's a shame.
cycling shoes also back?
They said they had them in stock, but that's just how they roll.
Everything's in stock. We got everything. Just order.
Yeah.
Give us your money.
Right.
And then we'll ship it to you one of these
We got
years.
it in stock. Oh, did you mean in? Oh no, we
In-
meant we will have it in stock.
Yeah.
You read that wrong.
It's on our it's on our website. Yeah.
Exactly.
just
We
finished
might
the-
have it in
We
stock.
finished the CAD designs for it.
Yeah. Well, the picture's online.
So yeah, I need to order some cycling shoes.
Gotcha.
Talk about that. It doesn't even have to be triathlon shoes. I don't even care.
I need triathlon shoes. Yeah.
All right. So another thing coming out this summer.
Bont shoes. Those Bont shoes look
Look at
nice.
Lake
They're just
too.
okay.
Lake is
Super expensive.
We're too close. They are
Target.
Made it pretty far in the podcast without having to get that. That was good.
Shimano coming out with their 12-speed stuff this summer. We
Are they?
should be
Yeah.
getting an announcement, if I'm not mistaken, in
That's exciting.
late June, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
is when they're going to actually do the announcement. I've seen it spec'd on bikes that I know should be starting to arrive. If you did preseason orders as a dealer, you should start to see them arrive in September, October. So that stuff's coming out. It's right around the corner, and they haven't told us any of the specs. We just know it's going to be on these bikes, and those embargoes are supposed to lift in late June, if I'm not mistaken, when Shimano actually announces everything.
So it'll be at the tour. It will be. We would expect to see.
Oh yeah.
We would expect to see all of this stuff at the tour. It's going to be a marketing blitz.
Is
I would
it
expect.
Is it
Yeah.
electronic?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Is it wireless?
Wireless.
yeah.
wireless.
Finally.
And something to do with the shifters not needing batteries, that they like self-charge somehow.
Oh yeah,
I don't know exactly how or whatever, but
I don't know.
Would it be an unpopular opinion here to say that I might want to wait for Gen 2 of that, just since it's their
That
first
seems
foray?
possible.
Into
Well,
that?
it'll just be
Yeah.
Dura-Ace, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So this will be their
that
Gen
could be
1 of their
cool
wireless
or
stuff.
bad.
And
Yeah.
you know that SRAM's going to be right around the corner with theirs. I mean, they've had their Access ETAP out for over 2 years now, so they're probably in the works
Personally,
for.
believe it's wonderful.
This will be their
The
Gen
Access.
4 coming out. So they've had 3 iterations already of their.
But the thing is
there's
like
some interesting things.
I was
that
going to say,
could
like,
happen.
SRAM Force is, I mean, Jake knows way better than me. I think it's behind the middle Shimano. You know, I mean, like, it's behind, but Axis, at least from what I've experienced on my TT bike, is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Like, incredible.
Force is works just as good. It's just lighter and less expensive.
What's lighter?
The Force over
Lighter
the
than what?
Axis. The the
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
the shifting, like the
I'm comparing
derailleurs.
SRAM to Shimano, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, because that's something SRAM came out with recently as well. Was they released the Force,
The Rival.
Rival.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
No,
rival.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Rival.
Force, yeah.
It goes
Red Force Rival.
Yes. Correct.
And they did wireless Rival.
Yes.
And it's
Cheaper.
cheaper.
top of the food
Less
chain. Axis.
expensive, a little heavier. Yep. So
Yeah.
that's nice that they've got that down into a
As a one
third
buy, I think
tier.
Axis is amazing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Anything else coming out that anybody knows of that is okay to talk about?
The wrong
I'm
one to ask for
sure
this.
there's something. I mean, there's always rumors of like the Garmin 955 that I don't think is coming out anytime soon. But they're I think what's going to happen is the 945 LTE, which I don't know if that's going to be exciting for anyone, but you know, triathlon watch with LTE options. So
Now, is the premise behind that just to be able to leave your phone at home when you go for a run?
leave your phone at home. You know, there could be some tracking stuff where your spouse could track you, and you could. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something that I would be like super pumped about, but someone will. Someone will be pumped about it.
Yeah. I think everybody's pretty acclimated to running with their phone. I mean, does it bother you to take your phone with you, Evan?
I never do.
Where do you put it?
I don't.
It doesn't.
Oh, you don't take
Yeah.
it with you.
No.
Gotcha.
And Josh
No.
was just talking about how he likes to have music on his watch,
Josh will usually listen to music, yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
Because I usually bring my phone.
If I'm
and
if
then
I'm
it's-
running outdoors, I won't. The only time I do like it is actually with track workouts. If someone brings a boombox, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool if someone brings a boombox.
Yeah.
We should maybe do that on Monday mornings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any bike computers that we should talk about? There's, I don't want to get into specifics, but I know that Wahoo's got something up their sleeve.
That
so
would be
stay
cool
tuned
to see.
later
I
this
would be
month.
excited to see that. Yep.
Yep.
I'm loving my Wahoo computer now, but I'll probably say that 10 years from now and be like, oh, I think it's time to update now.
Matt came in talking about how hard Wahoo Element roams are, or not roams, but
bolts are hard to get right now.
Yeah, and
Yep.
people are like jacking the price up to $300.
I saw a price for $300, which does not make
used
sense
shit right
for
now.
that
Utterly
particular computer.
ridiculous, given the fact that they
Used,
retail.
yeah.
The MSRP on those is $230, so people are really marking them up to $300.
The other one that's, okay, so that's the bolt is very long in the tooth, we would say. It's 4 years since they've updated that computer.
Yeah.
The other one is supposedly the, Garmin 1030 Plus is like, they say that's overdue.
Yep.
I've heard people talk about that. So they would potentially do like a 1040.
Yeah.
Lance, have you ever had that computer, like the 1030?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like
It's-
you've had something like that.
It got passed down to Brandy. That's the computer Brandy uses.
Was
now.
it the 1030 or the 1030 Plus?
The 1030.
Okay.
Not the Plus.
Okay. Because
That was like everybody's triathlon computer for a long time.
It's just so big.
it's a
Yeah.
big computer.
And Brandy's eyes aren't real good, so
Right. And you can
so
make
she
it
can
really
make
large.
it big. So
Well,
you
this
can
is
see
this is why I
things.
love Wahoo, is because for me being a blind person, it's
Yeah.
wonderful. I mean,
Right.
it's great because
Contrast
it
is
really,
really
pops
good.
up. Yeah.
Garmin,
I cannot see. I can't see it.
yeah. I have the 1030 Plus to review, and I'm going to put a video about that at some point, and we'll give that one away. But it's great having that super large screen, and you got bigger battery life and things like that. So I don't even know what they would do with the 1040. Like, what would you do? But it would make sense for them to update that one first with whatever the latest, greatest technology
And trickle
is,
down,
and
yep.
then trickle down
Yep.
eventually, which is
Right.
why I think that, the Phoenix should come before the 955, which hasn't happened in the past, but that's what should happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So...
Yep, I think you're right.
see.
Interesting.
It's been for the 530 2 years since that one came out, because I got it when it first came out, which was
Okay.
in May of
Right.
20.
Which came out at the same
19.
time as the Rome.
Yeah.
Basically the same week.
So the product cycles, you and I were having a discussion about this, that they're going to start moving towards an annual product cycle update kind of thing.
I think that was the rumor a while back, but clearly they can't do an annual release. I mean, I don't think Garmin can, and I don't think Wahoo can, but there's pressure from Apple. Like, you still wear, Lance, you wear an Apple Watch.
I do.
Every year there will be a new one.
Yes.
It's like the next one's gonna be the Series 7. Like, it's coming out,
right?
And it'll be great. And so you can almost count on it like a yearly cycle. And I think Garmin is going to start to feel the pressure. And I think that they're going to move from a 2 or 3 year cycle to maybe a 1.5.
Let's talk about the pros and cons of tightening that up. Like, as a consumer, do you feel a little like, oh, why am I going to go spend all this money when something new is going to come out? And just like, you know, if you're buying it now and they're going to come out with something in September, in a half year, are you going to buy it now or are you going to wait?
See, my thing is,
a year is tricky.
I'm a bad example, but I do think more people than we realize probably do it my approach, which is you use the thing till it's completely dead and is completely non-functional anymore, and you can't do it. Maybe that's every 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Whatever's new right then, I'll just buy. I just pick that, and then I'm like, all right, I know I got 6 years out of this thing before it's completely obsolete.
Yeah,
so
that makes a lot of sense. And then I'm also thinking about it from a dealer's perspective. Like, that's a pain in the butt because you've got to move all of your product. You don't want to get
people aren't replacing it every year. I mean, if you look at the grand percentage, maybe 5% of cyclists are replacing their bike computers every single year.
No.
Yeah,
right.
Triathletes. I know how many triathletes you see that are like, what Garmin do you have? I don't even remember. I got this thing like 7-8 years ago. I bought it used.
Yeah.
Like, that's most triathletes, to be
There's
honest.
And the ones whenever someone says like, I'm still rocking the big one.
Yeah.
What is that one called? I don't remember which.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like whatever. It's like the 305. That's not the right number, but like the big one. And it's like, I'm like, good. You are getting so much value out of this watch. And they're watching my videos about all the new watches.
You save so much money.
I'm like, hang on. Just hang on to keep getting good value.
Wait for the 955, and then you can save the 955 forever.
I think my hang up on a faster cycle is that software-wise, they need to... You can't just neglect a watch because it's a year and a half old.
Yeah.
You got to keep updating. And I think Wahoo has done a great job for 4 years updating the Bolt. Every month they're getting software updates and things like that still after 4 years. I think that, you can't move your cycle tighter and not, completely just... And I'm going to throw Polar under the bus. Polar company's great. They make great watches. They make great heart rate monitors. But like 6 months after one of their watches was released, they kind of just stopped updating it with all of the new features that some of the other watches got. Like, that's too tight. You need to be able to get updated software to your older devices long term, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'd love to see them have less or a wider product cycle and just more frequent updates, and then just make sure that what you're making has the capacity to be updated, firmware that can come out and make it do the latest and greatest things. And then once that becomes an issue where the computer's unable to do that, or something earth-shaking changes in the industry and they're able to connect to some new satellite, or it does some crazy new like metric that others don't do.
5G is like one of those things. I mean, here's the thing. Would you want the same thing for phone companies? Like, okay, Apple's not going to announce the next phone because there's nothing big coming down the pipeline. Or would you just say, you know what, they should stick to their yearly cycle? They do a good job with their software. They're backwards compatible for the most part for a ways. So
for a ways, I think that there would be more pomp and circumstance around that. You just like, oh, it's just a new phone, not a big deal. I'm not up for a new phone, so I don't really care about that. And if they did something maybe every 2 to 3 years,
what's everybody's iPhone replacement cycle so far? How many generations are you replacing at? Do you have an iPhone, or do you?
I do have an iPhone. I usually go. I was on the 2-year plan. The last phone I had, not the one that I have right now, but the one before that, we went 3 years.
Gotcha.
My phone was working fine.
Just like 6, 8, 10, 12 kind of.
Something like that.
For
but
the models, yeah.
This one that I have right now, which is the 11, I will replace it when the new one comes out this year. And this is a super cycle, as they're saying that there's supposed to be more people than ever updating their phones because of, just the cycle turnover, and when new phones come out and the 5G and a couple other things, they're just saying that this is going to be a pretty nice thing.
I was every year right when it came out because it was like part of my job.
Yeah, for you, that's a different story.
This is the first year where this is going to be a 2-year cycle for me.
Really?
Which is, I'm like, you know what? I can live without the 12.
Gotcha.
That's too funny. I went from the 6 to the 12, and everybody I talked to was like, I'm skipping the 12. I was like, cool. The one that I was like, all right, time to update. Everybody's like, that's okay. I'll wait for the 13.
I don't think it matters when you.
No.
I just think when
For
get
me, it
what's
does not.
get what's
I
latest
am
and-
not even close to utilizing the phone to its full capacity. So whatever I need to, as soon as my phone dies, which hopefully be every 6 cycles, I'll just replace it then. Yeah.
Have a good phone though, because that's a good little bike computer as well.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I actually had someone ask me this in one of my videos. Like, I was talking about, I think maybe it was the Wahoo Element Bolt
Mm-hmm.
or something. They were like, why would you use this over a phone? And I was like,
Great question.
I went through and I kind of, talked about
You
some
don't
of
want
the
to
things.
break it. I mean, that's,
And, yeah. And I was, but that's all, I think it's a very reasonable question.
It is. Does your phone connect to your power meter where you can display
Hers-
everything up?
She had a Wahoo, I think it was Wahoo. She had the speed cadence sensor, and that was going to her phone, and
Sure.
so she was getting speed
On
and
the Wahoo
cadence
app.
details from her Wahoo app that she was using.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I think I
you get
mentioned
map, well,
power
you get
and
Google
stuff,
Maps
but
off of it.
yeah, I mean,
You can do everything. It's just going to be all over the place. It's not going to be centralized on one computer, and then you have to have a mount for your bike or your phone.
My,
And if-
my main thing would be, I mean, your typical cyclist in a year is going to crash at least once.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. That's just, it's a matter of time. So you're going to crash once. No knocking on wood. But I mean, I would really rather have my bike computer. That phone, just the way it mounts, the way,
Right.
like if that
It's
thing
out
hits
there.
the ground at an angle, that
Yeah.
your phone's toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not making it.
my computer works with my radar. It works with my power meter. It
Yeah.
works with my heart, and it's all right there.
hey, the new radar works with your
Yeah.
phone as well.
It does, but it
The
doesn't.
515.
You can only use it with with GPS, if I'm not mistaken. So you can't be chasing a Strava segment. I mean,
Oh, right, yeah.
if I use Strava, it's just
All of us are bike computer people.
Yeah.
Like I even, I the next question you get is like, well, I have all of that stuff on my watch, and I'm like, yes, all of us still have watches and bike computers because it's just so nice to have a dedicated device that does specific bike stuff.
simplicity. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else coming out that you guys want to let the world know about? ramble on
Some
about-
goggles that I swam with today. I think so. They're an early preview. This is from a company called Finis, and they make a ton of really good swimming stuff, paddles and things like that. Just a lot of swim gear. But they actually have a new goggle that's being released today or tomorrow, sometime soon, where it's you can pre-order right now, or when this podcast comes out, I'm guessing that it should be available. They are extremely expensive, but they're smart goggles, so you're seeing data in the corner of your eye where you can kind of see like if you're lap swimming, you can see the distance that you're swimming, the amount of laps, and the splits or times that you can get from each
pretty
flip
neat.
turn. It's cool. It's interesting, but it's extremely expensive. I think $240 or something like that. And that's the nice part about it is it's a bit modular. You can take the computer piece out, and then you have the goggles in. If you lose the goggles or the goggles need to be replaced, which sometimes happens because it gets scratched or the anti-fog wears out, they're only $35 to replace the goggles, which I think is reasonable.
Would you want something like that on your cycling glasses?
Yes.
I know that Garmin had their little
They did.
insight thing, whatever.
And I
they-
never tested it, or I never even played with it.
They already discontinued.
Andrew
They did.
Starkowitz
Okay.
was using that for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Triathlete. Yeah.
Okay, so there's always been rumors that Apple was going to do some glasses, right?
yeah.
So, and then Google did their glass hole. People call it glass holes or whatever because
didn't
they had
really
their
take on, yeah.
it didn't really pick up. But like the concept is gonna come down the pipeline. I mean, I'm glad we're being recorded, so in 5 years, people will go back and watch this podcast and be like, Matt said this is going to be a thing, and it's not.
Matt called the future.
But I
or if it
have
is, they'll
to-
give you complete credit.
I have to imagine that smart glasses are gonna be a thing in the future.
Yep.
And
Do you think people are just going to be walking around with these? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
just sunglasses.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh. Well, I mean, like,
Oh,
what
my
if you were
God.
able to wear your glasses, but you were able to get those critical notifications? Right
I don't even have
into your
my
head?
watch linked up to that because when I check my phone is when I'll check things. I don't want to know when somebody's sending me a text message. This is why my phone's always on silent mode too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how long did you hold out before you got a smartphone?
A long time.
Yeah. I'm
long
guessing
time.
the same thing for glasses.
This is only
for you.
4 years ago I got a smartphone.
Yeah.
So
You'll hold out for a long time,
4 or
and then
5 years
eventually
ago,
you'll cave, but you'll eventually have smart glasses, and it'll be great.
I'm thinking too that Matt and I were talking about this. The Garmin Varia radar eventually is going to have a camera in it. It just
Yeah.
it has to. It makes
Oh,
all the
that's
sense in
smart.
the world.
That's smart.
To have
I
a
would
camera
love
in there
to
so
see
you can
that.
pick that up. Could you imagine if it broadcasted that signal up to your glasses and you can have like a rear view mirror like down the corner?
It's
you
too
can see
confusing. There's too many
all you have to
things.
do is look down. You can see like in the rear view mirror.
Dude, my depth perception's so
don't-
bad. If there's
So
something that
different than
popped up
driving your
here,
car around looking in the rear view mirror.
They did invent this thing called a mirror a while back, and you can wear them on the side of your
Lame.
glass.
oh, but that makes you a Fred instantly. So that's I'm joking. Mirrors are very safe.
They're
People,
great.
if you like mirrors,
are
you should
great.
wear them.
You should have a mirror.
But I will make
potentially,
fun of you.
But you should also have the Varia radar.
You
clip.
can also make
I
fun of
think
me
it's
for wearing short
fantastic.
socks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. All right, I don't think there's anything else new coming out unless Lance has something that he's got up his sleeve.
This is all rumor from SRAM. So
Gotcha. Oh, SRAM? Or
SRAM have some rumors.
13 speed.
There's some interesting stuff that SRAM I think can do because of this whole wireless piece.
Yeah.
Have you looked into this? I think
that's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
They have a concept that
There's some
SRAM's
very interesting stuff.
SRAM's wireless shifters right now. There's a
Yeah.
paddle that sits right next to your brake lever, and they might do away with the paddle so that you just click your brake lever and it shifts the gears, and you
cool.
pull on it to grab the brakes. So
And
that could be interesting.
They were
Takes
talking
one more
about
piece
how
away.
there was like I can't remember how all of this comes together, but they were talking like, oh well, wireless dropper posts and like there's a whole bunch of things that could connect into one ecosystem with the Axis stuff, and there was something else that was pedal based, and
Your bike.
we already have the Access dropper post.
we have there's
Wireless,
already wireless
okay. Yeah.
access dropper
but
posts. Yeah.
there was something about like looking. I can't remember how this goes, and we can always figure this out. But like they were gonna have it like you could get some dynamics of how like rough terrain was from the pedals, and then so it's like you could figure out like when things needed to be done automatically. I mean, there was some really crazy concepts that were out there.
Could you imagine if they hook up to like a heart rate and your cadence and like power, and that came up with your shifting profile to keep you like as efficient as possible?
I mean, it's
Actually,
I don't think
it's. I don't think that's going to be
you know how many
that
times-
it's
crazy.
actually possible now.
You know how many
In fact,
times I'm riding and like I catch like a group of people that look like they ride very recreationally, and they're on some hill and they're in their hardest gear.
30 cadence.
You're
And all you
like-
want to tell them is
they're
like,
just-
what are
they're
you
just
doing?
you're like, dude, I
cranking
can make
because
this
they're in-
so much
You're
easier
like,
on you.
I just want to go
shift
by.
down.
I'm like, just shift up like 3 gears.
I'll shift for you.
Yeah. I can make this ride so much more enjoyable for you right now.
So I think there are people that have done this where, I think Shimano has is it D-Fly or something? I can't remember. What's Shimano's wireless
Yeah,
system?
the little wireless transmitter Bluetooth.
I feel like people have hacked it to where it's like basically a continuous shifting piece where based on you could set something up where it's like at this cadence shift and it's all automated. I don't remember.
synchro shift.
I wouldn't like
The
that at all,
synchro
but it'd be
shift,
really
yeah.
cool. I mean, that would be very cool, but I would hate it.
I think that's the thing. Is like it's interesting concepts, but people don't love their bike shifting for them.
No.
No, me
It's like
neither.
I would never jump
100%
into a
manual.
car that drives itself. I would never jump into a bike that shifts itself.
Captain Luddite over here.
Yep.
Yes.
You're
When
gonna
I'm
eat those
60, I'll
words.
probably just be walking everywhere at that point because I'll be terrified of all things. So,
All right, let's change gears. Let's jump into the stuff that we will be picking up this summer. At least that's on our list of things that we want to get.
Sunscreen.
That's going to get his new
He's
sunscreen.
gonna buy it for sure.
Swedish fish.
Captain
No,
Safety over here, or Safety Dan. Is that
Safety Dan.
That's right.
I actually do need a new road helmet. That will be
I could use a
my,
helmet.
my purchase and new triathlon shoes, cycling
Yep.
shoes.
I need both of those.
Gotcha. What else?
And whenever Speedplay comes out
Oh yeah, that's
with
on your
their
list.
power meter pedal, I will be getting that. That's about it.
And you can get a new watch.
Think this summer.
You can come steal one from my office.
Yeah.
You should come get something.
Yeah, I need
Try
to
a
get
whole bunch of
something.
stuff and see what you
The
like.
45.
How many
sounds
watches
cool.
you got stacked up over there?
Probably a dozen or so.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, we need to hang out this weekend. I'll bring the skateboard over.
Lance, you're always buying new stuff. What are you getting?
I am prone to overheating, so
Oh.
I'm looking at like those cooling arm warmers. I just got a base layer from Castelli that is a cooling base layer.
What'd you think?
I've worn it once and it felt good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to if those cooling arm warmers would help as well because I tend to overheat.
Is that
easy.
cheating in the Peloton?
Cooling arm warmers?
Cooling base layers in the Peloton.
Why would that be cheating?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're
know.
on
I'm thinking-
Ineos and you've got ones with the little dimples in
Yeah.
it, that's what they're racing.
I
There's-
know,
you
right?
can't have them
Yeah.
in a jersey, but there's no rule that says you can't have,
Have
it
them in the under
base
jersey,
layer.
then just
That's-
make a really, really tight
that's what they're
over
doing.
jersey.
And
Yeah.
just unzip your jersey.
Take the jersey off and just
I see Vegan Cyclist did this little mini training camp this last week, and one of the guys he rides with, it was super hot. He took his jersey off entirely and like tucked it in his
not a bad idea.
and got a terrible
That's hilarious.
sunburn.
That
his
needs to be
jersey off.
normalized. Taking off a cycling jersey when it's 98 and hot as heck. Yeah. That
And
needs
he's
to be-
riding around with his bibs up over his shoulder.
Have you seen his Impossible Route video yet?
I haven't. I
You
need to watch it.
It's worth it. That guy puts a lot of good effort into his videos. He's
Yeah.
a cool guy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a new shoulder this summer.
Are you?
I've
I
got
heard
one
they're
on order,
on sale.
but they're back ordered.
Oh, I thought we were really talking about another attempt. I was like, what are we doing?
No more surgeries, man. I'm sick of that.
I was
But
gonna say, please not get the total shoulder.
no, I'm going to put cush cores in my mountain bike. I've
you?
got it in my gravel bike, and I like it. I'm
Yeah.
going to put it in the mountain bike because I have been slowly but surely building up a little bit of strength and a little bit of stamina to where my shoulder can actually ride the mountain bike more
Yeah.
than once every 3 months. So I
Yeah.
think it's time to put the cush cores in there just to kind of play with the
not a
tire
bad
pressure
idea.
a little bit more and grip a little bit better. And I finally got to play with the dropper post on the mountain bike this past week or two. Oh my Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Faster.
highly worth the investment.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I got my first one, and it was on my first mountain bike that I had with. Well, the first mountain bike that I had one on there was just after I had my shoulder melees, and I really just never was able to ride the bike, and therefore I wasn't ever really able to test it out. And my shoulder still sucks. Insert explicatives here, but I was able to kind of like start to play with it a little bit more, and it actually takes a lot of the pressure off my shoulder. But oh my gosh, it's so much faster.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to go flying through stuff and get that center of gravity low, and the bike just handles a lot better.
In the race on Saturday,
Yeah.
I probably put my dropper post up and down 50 times
Yeah.
at
Wow.
least.
That's a lot.
It's all. I'm always shifting it. If there's tight corners coming up,
Yeah.
you can change it. Yeah, I just put it down and you go off
Yeah.
the back. Anything steep.
Yeah, I'm going to add one to my TT bike.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
I wish I went and looked at the SRAM Axis one, and it's the 31.8, I think it is, millimeter diameter, and we need the 27.2 for the gravel
Oh.
bike, so it's not going to work for the wireless one.
For the wireless one.
I thought that would be so slick just to push a button and it's down, but I'm still considering putting one on the gravel bike just for grins and giggles because there are some situations for my shoulder that I want to get down a little bit lower and I'm not leaning as far forward if you're on something that's kind of steep descending.
Yeah.
Being able to get down and get the weight over your hips and just not so much over your hands makes a big difference.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Cool. Yeah, so that's me. What else you got coming up?
I think I need some potentially new tires to go tubeless. So
Yep, we were talking about that.
that'll
over
be
the
fun.
weekend. Yep.
That'll be. I'm excited about that. So that'll be a purchase this summer. I'm sure I'm going to get a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe whatever new bike computer comes out. Snag one of those.
Yes, sir.
Got to test it. Test all the things. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't feel like I need anything. I think new shoes. New shoes.
Yeah.
My shoes are gross.
So mine
I've-
are awful.
Yeah, I have some.
My
gross
clips
shoes.
are destroyed. Is what I need to replace.
My
Honestly.
helmet is right at 3 years old.
Evan brought up a good one. That's on a list that everybody should be looking at too,
What?
is your cleats.
Your cleats.
I agree. I was thinking about that
Oh, and how often those get stripped is just my left one.
stripped and
I
worn.
tried everything to get it off. I can't get it off right now.
Oh, really?
Check
No,
your
it's
pedal
terrible.
tension too while you're at it. Lance Epler.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Seriously.
I pulled my foot straight out of my pedal on the
Yeah.
flogging ride one week.
it was like the second weekend,
I
and
need
he
to worry
almost
about
went
that, man.
down. Thankfully, Lance has
almost
got some
went
bike
down.
handling skills, and he saved it. But good Lord, scared the snot out of all of us.
I was sprinting past everyone else and pa-ching! I pulled my foot right out of my cleat
Yeah.
because the tension was just too loose. That was why it
Yeah.
popped
Too much
out.
float.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else, Evan? You getting anything else?
Nah, that's pretty much it for
You're
me.
good, Lance.
Yeah, shoes are good.
I buy stuff every week.
I know.
Yeah.
Walks in the lab. He's like,
Picky
"Well,
bars.
take
What
some
do I
of these."
need? I need picky bars.
I wouldn't mind buying some picky bars.
I love
actually.
picky bars.
Yeah.
Tasty good.
Yeah.
I think
Any
that
camera stuff? You gonna buy anything new?
I'm trying not to.
That's smart.
Well, I want the Sony A7 IV if that ever comes out.
Yeah. That'll
So
be, probably not this summer.
I-
well, who knows?
was on the fence. I was looking at the A1. I was like,
Oh my gosh,
so nice.
that's a nice camera.
It's a $6,000 camera though.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now I've got friends.
Hey, we spend
Yeah,
that much
friends
on
in
bicycles.
got friends in
you-
different places
If
that
you
could
get
probably
any sort of sale on that thing, then you could turn around and sell it for the
sure
more.
yeah.
You make
And
money.
It does such a good job of holding its value, but I think I'm going to pass on that because I just can't
Yep.
justify. Even if I were just to get it for $1,000 less, I could probably buy 2 A7 IVs when those come out for that amount of money.
The A7 IV will be nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So
Yep.
that's what I got up my sleeve, and then probably going to get a few things from Insta360 because we're
Oh,
working
yeah.
with them folks now. Pretty excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finally got my bike set up with the mount and stuff. With the Insta360.
I laughed a little bit earlier, like a couple minutes ago. Matt came over to my house to pick something up that he had left at
a
the
light box.
Yeah. And I was joking with Lance about this. He's starting to look like DC Rainmaker when DC
with,
goes
like,
out on a
tons
ride.
of stuff.
When Ray goes out on a ride, he's got stuff all over his bike, strapped all
so
Matt's
much.
testing all the things. He's getting all the metrics and all the data.
Like
so.
6 different watches on there too.
I could have added more too because I've got
You really should.
so many bike computers that are I'm in the thick of it. If I had more time, that's probably what more like some of those videos would ever see the day of light. But it's bike computer central, and it's I've got probably 4 or 5 videos. All of this stuff, I'm giving a lot of it away too.
Yeah.
And so I just got to get those out.
Cool.
I need time. I need more time in the day.
There you go. Before we call this one done and wrapped, Austin Elling asked on the live chat how often you should replace your shoes, or how often would you guys replace your
We're
shoes?
talking about running shoes or
Triathlon
Cycling shoes.
Running
Do
shoes
you
we already
pee-
answered.
Do you pee in
That's-
your
yeah.
cycling shoes?
And replace them immediately.
Immediately.
Just throw them in the trash. Leave them in transition.
Yeah.
If you got holes,
Give them to a friend.
Just throw them.
if you got holes, if you've got cracks in the carbon fiber sole,
Yeah.
I got all that.
or if they just stink so bad and there's just no bringing
I
it
think
back.
if you my thing is once I start to feel the pedal, I know that sounds weird, but if you guys ever realize that when your shoes really start to wear down the cycling shoes, I started to be able to feel the speed play pedal a lot more. I'm not sure if it's just a speed play problem.
That's your
But, like,
carbon fiber sole.
Yeah,
giving up.
and that's
Yeah.
and that's why I started to realize I'm getting a little bit of flex. I can feel the pedal. I'm like, all right, it's time to.
Yeah,
time to
I feel
For
like
me,
this
though-
carbon fiber lasts pretty. I mean, it's except for it
got a-
starts to crack.
Matt, I put huge watts through my shoes.
That's true.
Okay,
That's true.
my last 2 pairs
Me
of
and
shoes.
Lance over here dropping 1,800 watt bombs. Okay,
My last 2 pairs of shoes, I cracked and broke the carbon fiber on both
See,
of
I do
them
not have that
inside of
problem.
3 years. So
Oh, really? Okay.
it was kind of crappy.
I just don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on shoes. They're expensive.
Yeah, they're
and the ones I'm looking at,
300,
because like I'm
400
not going to
bucks.
buy a cheap triathlon shoe. Unfortunately, I'm just like I need to get something that's nice and cool.
Get
Bont,
something
is that what
decent.
you like?
Bond
I'm
is-
either looking at Lake or Specialized.
Okay.
The Trivent, either the Trivent or Lake's shoe.
We've got a deal with Lake too. I've just never
Do
done
we?
anything with them. Yeah.
Okay.
We might
I
have to
might-
talk about that. And
yeah.
Carlos was telling me that we need to look into Bont.
Bont is nice.
Yeah.
They're like $400 is like the starting point. Or
Really?
Something crazy. I don't
Wow.
remember, but they're nice, and
Mm-hmm.
I definitely kind of want one for like triathlon racing. It's one of those shoes where I don't know if I'd wear it all the time because then you're messing up your super
Yeah.
pricey shoes, kind of like your Nike race shoes. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I also have.
I'm
had
probably
good-
going to train in my old pair of shoes on the trainer still, and then just
Yeah,
only
I
ride
think so.
outside.
I've had good luck
lakes,
with
yeah.
getting like discontinued shoes that are a year or two old,
Yeah.
and then like
Cool.
because you can
Get
get them for
$100
under
chopped off them.
$100 or so. Yeah.
All right, let's call that done. But real quick,
Okay.
before we say done,
Mm-hmm.
real quick, you get to say one thing. What's one thing that you need for racing this summer? Anything?
New Achilles.
New Achilles? Gotcha.
Better swim splits.
Gotcha. Lance.
Not to crash.
And a new shoulder. Yes.
There you go.
We'll just keep this all non-product related.
Non-product related.
Cool. Let's jump into one last thing. Lance, go first.
Hopefully, I'm doing a road race for the first time in
That's
like
exciting.
a year and a half this weekend. Hopefully, so we'll see how that rolls.
Nice.
Good luck, dude.
Thanks.
Make sure you call that promoter.
I'm gonna call him. I want to race with my teammates, not by myself
Or
against Rob Tormey.
Dialed could win both races.
Yeah.
Never know.
Tell him we'll talk about him on the podcast and
There
promote
we
his,
go.
his
There you
next
go.
race if he gets me in there.
There you go.
Evan, what you got?
We got coming up. There was a little switch in the local triathlon schedule.
Yeah.
On the weekend of June 4th, 5th, instead of a race at Hag Lake, Hag Lake has been bumped to July, and the PDX triathlon has been moved from Blue Lake to Vancouver Lake.
The water tastes great. We know
changing
that.
State
And
borders, huh?
for June 4th, 5th. So it's going to be the same weekend. There still will be a race. And honestly, for me, I'm kind of like selfishly pretty happy about that because
I know.
Vancouver Lake is like literally a
Are you
4-minute
gonna
drive
race?
from my house.
Are you gonna race it or?
Yeah,
you,
yeah, I'm gonna race. It will be 2 weeks before Des Moines, so I will be there racing. Jake, odds of you being there?
I'll beat all of them.
Be at all of them.
I'll
that's
be
that's
wrenching
what I
and
thought.
taking pictures. So-
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
And then
I
I
didn't know
will
that
be
was like a
there
thing.
before
Yeah, for
and
sure.
after the race doing PT talk stuff. If anybody wants to
Oh,
come up to
really?
me and tell me what hurts, then we
Yeah.
will talk.
Yeah, we'll set
I
up
got
a.
some-
If I'm
I got
a
some
little,
pain.
yeah, if I'm a little,
I would like to do some videography stuff there.
Come on
as
out.
well.
Yeah.
So
I'll have
So we
a
have a
home
fun
base set up,
weekend.
bunch of
Yeah.
tents, the whole shoot match, the
That's
van.
a very
busy
fun weekend.
for us. June 4th and 5th.
June 4th, 5th.
I've got family.
Somebody was talking about something
One of
going
those
on June
days, just
5th,
sneak
and I
away.
said, "Oh, that's
The Oregon
4th
Grand
is a
Fondo.
I think the 4th is a Friday.
It's Mike
Probably
Ripley's
5th and
big.
6th.
there's something else even on top of that, if I'm not mistaken. That's the 3-year anniversary of me getting hit by a car. I've talked about that too many times
Be a
today.
big weekend. Damn it. That would be a big weekend. Yeah.
Anyway, cool.
Yeah. So celebrated by riding a bicycle at Vancouver Lake,
Yeah.
which could not
So,
be in any safer,
was
flatter
this
area
all
to ride a
just
bike.
strategic stuff because like you
I
throw,
think it's
throw a
just-
stone across the Oregon border and they won't let you do racing.
I think that's
Yep.
and I think
Yeah.
Blue Lake has actually been getting tougher to run that race there. Now I could be completely wrong, Carissa.
It's a nice park.
but I think that the people who live at Blue Lake really don't like the race happening there. So I think for a while that has been
They also
tougher
have
to
some
run there.
questionable
So-
water quality depending on the time
Yeah,
of year.
Blue Lake is a coin toss on if that water's going to be okay or
It's
not.
So
not
how many-
always blue. The Blue Lake.
It's not.
How many
sometimes green.
triathlons are they going to have out at Vancouver Lake this year?
All of them.
That's why I was joking. I was like, Vancouver Lake is going to have every local triathlon now. Them and
Super.
Horseshoe. Yeah, great for me. That's 4 minutes from my house. If Y runs every race there, I'll be at every single one. So
Lacamas Lake wasn't so dirty. You guys could maybe go over there. Maybe.
yeah, seriously,
Yeah,
wouldn't be
That'd
bad.
be amazing. Cause
Be a great
if you
race.
do a trail run along the side. Oh
yeah.
man, that'd be amazing.
Run on
But,
Heritage.
It's just
yeah,
there's not a big enough parking lot
that's true.
at Lacamas.
That is true.
well, and if you're biking, it's not great from there.
No,
As
Pretty
much as I
crowded
wish
area.
it was, it's
Yeah.
just kind of like traffic-y. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Send people around a roundabout.
yeah. Go around the roundabout a couple times.
Matt Legrand, one last thing.
Well, always videos. There's that going. So I just did the Wahoo Element Bolt after a year. Not a lot of people are watching that one. Don't know why.
How many views does it have?
Because I already bought it because you told me to.
I don't know. Maybe it might have. I could guess 500, but I
No,
actually
it's got to
don't
be more
know.
than that.
It's not a very good.
677.
677. So there you go.
Johnny on the spot.
What's your biggest video lately?
Every once in a while, some random video will do really well. The Koros Pace 2, I'm sure, is doing well. I did that one like 2 weeks ago.
Almost 2,000 views.
2,000. Okay. There's another one that was totally random, and it was like top 10 videos that you should check out from triathlon, like top 10 triathlon videos that you should check out. That one was like, I thought that was going to be like a, mediocre video.
Filler
and like
video
a
almost
whole
like-
bunch of people watched that one. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Your
Didn't
most-
expect that one.
Your best try watch, that's almost 10,000 views.
It's at the
Best
945.
Tri-Watch? Oh, that one. Yeah, I did that one. That was a fun one because it's like the falling watches or something at the intro.
Yeah.
That was
Doesn't
a cool
the
video.
945 have something like 100,000 views?
Probably.
Yeah, that one was your big one, if I'm
mine.
not mistaken.
Well, yeah, that one and another Wahoo Bolt one did really well,
Really?
randomly, which that's why I thought the other one would do well. So, so I've got that video that people should definitely check out. And then this week, I mentioned those smart goggles. I'm going to try to get that video out soon, and then I'm going to give those goggles away to whoever is on the video, comments and things like that. And then I have a whole bunch of bike computers that I'd like to review. And so those videos will come up soon, as well as a Polar Watch video coming out at some point as well. So a whole bunch of stuff to get out there. I just got to have time. Gotta find some time to do it. It's hard.
Yeah, I've been threatening and talking about this for probably, 4 weeks now? About our Garmin V Wahoo video coming out.
Someday it's gonna
I
come
worked
out.
on it again this weekend, and like Adobe Premiere does, it crashed and killed about 45 minutes of my work. So
Dang it.
So that was the final nail in that coffin. I'm not going to finish that video on that platform.
You're gonna switch
I
mid-platform.
switched. I already exported out all the data that I
Wow.
need. I'm going over to Final Cut Pro.
I think that's a good choice. I think it's going to be a lot faster.
Au revoir, Premiere, you bastard. Yeah, that's something that I've been working on for far too long. But yeah, stay tuned, hopefully.
Stay tuned. It'll probably be out by the time this podcast comes out on Wednesday.
No.
No? Okay.
I just don't have
It's
time.
not realistic.
But
Yeah.
there are some sunny skies on the horizon of help down here at the lab. And I'll get
That's
into that
good.
later.
But
I'll get into that later.
There's
but
also sunny skies for biking,
that too.
Yes, there
which
is.
is dangerous because that means less work is going to get done.
Also true.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm
be
going to
honest,
get
it's
any
way
work
more
done.
valuable.
My one last thing is I just wanted to give a shout out to David Root for putting on an awesome ride
Oh,
/
yeah.
race pace deal out at Hag Lake. They did
Oh,
the
yeah.
Hag Lake World Champions, and he's been busting his backside. Us here at the Dialed Cycling Lab, we supported him a little bit with a bit of swag for some prizes, if you will.
Yeah.
And then we had a bunch of teammates that went out there, and they had a really good-sized group. I mean,
He dished out more prizes for that race than any road race I ever did in the Midwest, ever. Like,
There was roughly 30 people there, I think, or more.
yeah, about
something
that.
like that.
Between probably 30 and 40 people. It was a good showing. So
And David's filming on a GoPro on his
E-bike.
Yeah.
his unrestricted e-bike,
Yeah.
so he can
Really?
stay with the leaders and drop back and then
Yeah.
catch back.
That's cool.
He's doing a great job.
It's just such a cool idea.
So- Yeah.
It's such
Yeah.
a cool idea.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I thought he was just filming stuff on his bike.
No, he's on his unrestricted e-bike.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was like $250 that was
Yeah, it
pooled
was
up for the
big
winners
money.
of like the KOMs.
yeah.
And each lap had a
Yeah.
preem on it, and there was like $60 for the final. And we gave him a bunch of product and stuff like that to add to it, and it was just really well done. And he put out a video this morning. You can go to
Who ended up winning, by the way?
Greg Steele.
Greg Steele.
Greg Steele won, really?
Won the overall. Yeah.
Where was Robert?
He was not in. There was three who won. There was three battling it out at the end, and Robert was not in those three. But
Did
they
they-
were
They were right
mixing it
there,
up.
right? Yeah, because I was looking at the KOMs of each like little thing, and Robert was right there.
Yeah.
yeah.
He didn't. No, Robert didn't
Yeah.
take any of the KOMs and didn't take any of the preems and
No.
didn't take the. But that makes me wonder, like,
Robert also is in the middle of like an intense. Probably rode like 80 miles the day before. And was
Yeah,
like, oh, cool,
right.
I'll ride to the race and back.
Gearing up for Walla
I saw-
Walla, I
yeah.
think.
I saw
Yeah.
them on a video too.
My money's on Robert winning Walla Walla.
that David put out a duffel bag on the front of their bike. Just like doesn't care, just out there riding, doing their thing.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can go check that out, Lance. You have it up right now. Where can people go see that video?
It's called Roots Gone. ROOTSGONE. Roots
his
Gone.
That's
YouTube
his
channel
YouTube
name?
channel, and then the title is Hag Lake Worlds.
Hag Lake
5.
with 2 G's.
Yeah, HAGG. Go check that out. Good job, David. Way to keep road cycling relevant and interesting here in the Pacific Northwest, because there's not a lot else going on in our neck of the woods. Lance has got a race going on up in Washington this coming week, but here in the greater Portland area.
Let's go to Washington.
Did you do a one last thing, Lance?
I don't have anything.
He's racing.
I'm
That's his
racing.
thing. Yeah.
Maybe.
Next time, come prepared.
Okay.
I think that's it, guys. Anything else?
That's it.
No? Cool. Thank you all for watching and listening and all that other fun stuff. If you have any questions, go to Dial Podcast and you can see little places where you can connect with us there and do the Patreon-y stuff. Otherwise, we will catch you all next week. Bye for now.